down for the next 72 hours. But you know what? I think in this, when he goes after the NFL and he goes after players kneeling, I don't care what the NFL response is. That's his sweet spot, and he's gonna keep doing that because that is in his wheelhouse. His supporters love that stuff.
It's true. His supporters do love it, but he is not running for the presidency anymore, and he is supposed to be president and ideally should be bringing folks together. Although I think now we are in a period in this history where we've had the last two presidents, President Obama and now President Trump, as being people that have intentionally looking to create significant divisions culturally and racially in this country, whether intentional or unintentional. But, you know, listen, both sides, the NFL players and the president, are responsible for this frustration right now. And frankly, if you're the people in Puerto Rico, you just have to be throwing your arms up in the air and saying, are you kidding me? You know, the NFL players, you know, they're not moving the needle by doing what they did or doing what they're doing. They're not changing any minds. In fact, they're probably making a lot of people in the country less empathetic, certainly the white people in the audience at football games. You know, frankly, I think they could have been a lot more effective and a lot more honorable and respectful if they held a big press conference with as many NFL players as possible out in front of the White House to demand a meeting with the president. And then on the flip side, you have President Trump that throws a one-liner out that almost as if he thinks that there's no cameras on or that we don't live in a time of social media and doesn't think there's going to be consequences for his words. And then what does he do, as we know he does, because he's such a overly sensitive, narcissistic individual, and he takes things so personally, he doubles down and makes the situation even worse. So, again, I would say the people in Puerto Rico are the ones that are the true victims right here.
Yeah, then he tweets about it like he's a private citizen, not that he's the most powerful man in the world that can do something about getting help to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's, you know, people in the White House can say all they want, we can do two things at once. Well, the people in Puerto Rico, I think right now are thinking, why is he not flown down here? He doesn't seem to be doing two things at once right now. I mean, we don't have the federal assistance that we feel we need, or at least the leadership that we feel we need. Now, listen, Puerto Rico's financial situation predates the hurricane. I mean, it's a lot of their problems were their own government's doing down there, but these are American citizens, so it requires some presidential leadership here. But you know, listen, it's the NFL players have a right to protest and they have a right to freedom of speech, and that needs to be respected by folks, whether people agree with it or not. I'm just saying strategically, I think the NFL players have chosen the wrong approach, and then strategically, or from a communication standpoint, I think the biggest understatement of the year is that the president has chosen the wrong approach, but then again, he does that almost weekly.
What I find fascinating is the NFL controversy, the Puerto Rico situation, North Korea. You know, but he's got the health care deal that he's sort of hasn't talked about at all. And this week was supposed to be tax cut week. Everybody wants tax cuts, and that's the only thing he's not talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it is true. And listen, every week it seems like we're having the same conversation, which is this president has no clue where he is and what he is doing or what he's supposed to be doing. Listen, there are a lot of the policies that he talked about on the campaign trail and that he's talked about a little bit since he's been in the White House that I'm supportive of personally, and I think many people in the country are. But this individual is frankly the most unintelligent, incompetent, insensitive, irresponsible person that we could even have in the White House. So it's really it's missed opportunities here, because a lot of these things that you just mentioned that are not being discussed, that have an opportunity to get pushed, that get to happen here, tax reform, the debt ceiling, and obviously immigration reform, they're not being done because he doesn't know his surroundings and he doesn't know what he is doing in that office.
Trey, what do you really think?
It's at a point where it's beyond almost a joke. I mean, I've laughed about it enough. We've talked about how surreal it is. We've talked about how we feel like we're in a Twilight Zone or we're watching a movie. But this is now really affecting people's lives. And I think if the guy does not get where he is and what he's doing, and it almost like he doesn't want to be there, then get the hell out.
More importantly, what are your Washington Nationals? Who are they playing in the first round of the playoffs?
I think the Cubs. It's going to be an interesting one. But hey, remember, I mean, I am a huge Nats fan, but if it came down to Red Sox Nats, there's no question my heart would be with my Red Sox. So I'm fired up about the Red Sox. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that where they're both in the World Series, but you know what? It could happen.
I am actually rooting for that. I'd like to see you squirm a little bit.
Yeah,
so
that would be great.
All right, Trey. Thanks for checking in.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, 6:28 here, Big 550.